What is up, everybody? It's Thrash Bandicoot 01 here, back with another video of me sitting behind my webcam. It's been a while since I've done these kind of videos, but hey, why not? It's summer vacation. I got nothing to lose. Today I'll be reading you some fun facts from a little book I bought. That's a Fact, Jack, a collection of utterly useless information. If you love utterly useless fun facts like I do, you will certainly enjoy this book. It's a really neat book, so I'm going to read you a few fun facts right from this book, if that's okay with you. The first few facts we're going to read are directly from the back of that cover of the book. Butterflies are cannibals. Charlie Chaplin once lost a Charlie Chaplin look-alike contest. When trees are thirsty, they make a gurgling sound. The largest human cell is the female ovum. The smallest is the male sperm. The average lifespan of a typical hockey puck during a typical NHL game is 7 minutes. The rest of the pucks are kept in a fridge underneath the penalty box that are chilled to -10 degrees Celsius. Statistics. Typically, women utter around 7,000 words a day, while men manage just over 2,000. A cockroach's brain is spread throughout its body. If you chop off its head, it can continue to live up for a week. It finally dies because it can't eat anything. The first film version of Frankenstein was a 15-minute silent produced by Thomas Edison. Not only did Henry Ford invent the assembly line and the affordable automobile, he also invented the modern charcoal briquet from sawdust and scrap wood generated in the automobile factory. Ford encouraged people to use their cars on picnic outings by offering barbecue grills and Ford charcoal at his automotive dealerships. Men who kiss their wives goodbye in the morning earn higher salaries than those who don't. Well, that's because I don't plan on getting married. In 1784, Shunosuke Matsuyama was shipwrecked on a Pacific island while searching for buried treasure. Before he starved to death, Matsuyama carved his story onto coconut wood and set it adrift in a sealed bottle. A century and a half later, in 1935, the bottle washed ashore in the village of Hiraturamura, where Matsuyama was born. The custom of leaving undone the bottom button of a man's vest originated with King Edward VI of Great Britain, who reigned from 1901 to 1910. Bertie, as he was called, was simply too portly to fasten the bottom button. Taking it as a fashion statement, his loyal subjects followed his lead. Shakespeare coined thousands of new words, or neologisms, in his plays and sonnets. Among those are amaze, bedroom, excellent, fitful, majestic, radiant, and summit. The sandbox tree grows pumpkin-shaped fruit that explodes, launching seeds as far as 300 feet at speeds up to 150 miles per hour. Its nickname is the dynamite tree. The planet with the lowest density is Saturn. In fact, its density is so low that it would float if placed in water. The largest supply of alcohol in the universe is in deep space. Astronomers have spotted an alcohol cloud in the Milky Way that measures 288 billion miles across. Imagine all the alcoholics now signing up for space missions. Mountains create their own weather systems. Kilimanjaro, Tanzania's 19,340-foot volcano, has 6 ecological zones, or microclimates. To see a rainbow, you must have your back to the sun. Jellyfish are 95% water. Wombats poop cubes. The Great Barrier Reef is often referred to as the world's largest organism, but like all coral formations, it's actually made up of millions of tiny organisms. The word lap comes from the French word lappet, which is a jacket flap that hangs below the waist. Such garments were in vogue until the early 20th century. Lucifer is Latin for lightbringer. When Japanese men retire, their spouses often cannot get used to them being around the house. 60% of retirees' wives suffer from Shujin Zaitaku Sutoresu Shukugan. Sorry if I mispronounced that. I don't speak Japanese. Which literally means one's husband being at home stress syndrome. Also in Japan, it is socially acceptable for men to fall asleep on the job, as it is seen as exhaustion from hard work. The term cop most likely derives from the British police acronym for Constable on Patrol. Some believe it is a shortened version of copper, which referred to the buttons worn by British bobbies. The oldest wad of chewing gum is 9,000 years old. Swedish researchers believe the birch resin was chewed and spat out by a Neolithic man looking to get high. Why 420 blaze it when you can have donuts and 420 glaze it? Chewing an apple is just as effective as waking you up in the morning as drinking a cup of coffee. The act of chewing works to stimulate the central nervous system. A 10-gallon hat only holds about 3/4 of a gallon of liquid. It got its name from the Spanish word galón, which means braid. Some Mexican cowboys, or vaqueros, wore as many as 10 braided bands on their sombreros. Major Henry Wirz was the only soldier convicted of war crimes during the American Civil War. Wirz was the commanding officer of the Confederate prison in Andersonville, Georgia. Of the 49,485 prisoners who entered the camp, nearly 13,000 died from disease and malnutrition. The only continent without owls is Antarctica. Well, duh. Have you seen how cold it is there? The only thing that can survive there is ice and penguins. Are penguins even in Antarctica? I don't know. Although John Lennon claimed that he was the walrus. You know that Beatles song, I'm the Walrus? Good song. Especially the version by the band Grey Matter. I recommend that version. But anyway, he's actually a trilobite. John Lennon's actually a trilobite, a prehistoric ocean-dwelling arthropod. The four species, Avalentrodus garfunkeli, A. lennoni, A. simoni, and A. starri, are named after Art Garfunkel, John Lennon, Paul Simon, and Ringo Starr, respectively. The Spanish exclamation, "Olé!" commonly heard at bullfights and flamenco dances, comes from Allah, which means praise be to God. I know I bud! Oh, nothing happened. 4. The warning yelled by weekend duffers after hitting an errant golf shot was originally an English military term. Back when soldiers fired rifles in lines, the command "Beware before" was a signal for the front line to kneel or risk getting their heads blown off. Aunt Flo is a citizen of the world. International women all over the world use terms for menstruation varying wildly. In Australia, I got the flags out. In Brazil, I'm a chico. In Denmark, they say there are communists in the funhouse. The United States, hoes in the United States be like, I'm having Shark Week, and all the guys are like, oh, stay away, she's having Shark Week. And in England, the English women, their term for menstruation is, I'm flying the Japanese flag. I actually, believe it or not, find that entertaining. A fetus acquires fingerprints by the end of the first trimester. Tampons were originally designed to plug bullet wounds. The word tampon comes from the French tampon, a piece of cloth used as a stopper. Well, I'm going to read one last fact for you guys, and I'm going to see if I can it's going to be a real zinger for you. 2 facts, actually, and I'll conclude it. Mr. Potato Head was the first toy to be advertised on television. The potato chip, this is the last fact of the day, the potato chip was created out of spite. In 1853, when a customer at Moon's Lake House in Saratoga Springs, New York, complained that head chef George Crumb's potatoes were soggy and not salty enough, Crumb stomped back to the kitchen, thinly sliced some potatoes, fried them until they were golden, poured salt all over them, and dumped them in front of the picky customer. They became known as Saratoga chips until Herman Lay, an inspiring young salesman, popularized the product throughout the country. Well, I hope you enjoyed those fun facts. The book is called That's a Fact, Jack, a collection of utterly useless facts and information. So if you're like me and you love utterly useless facts and information, I hope you found this video to be entertaining and that you really check out this book, where there's a ton more facts in that book than the ones I read to you. Have a good day now, everybody, and remember, y'all just keep being y'all, because that's what makes the world work. Bye now. Thrash to the death, my little thrashes. Thrash to the death.